Petty, daughter of the late Wiley and Pearl Petty, was born in Cleveland County, North Carolina on September 15, 1937. She departed this life on July 10, 2018, surrounded by her loving family. She grew up in Bowling Springs, North Carolina, and graduated from Green Bethel High School. After graduation, she moved to Charlotte and worked as a caretaker. She later worked in Long Island, New York, for several years. After relocating to Charlotte, she worked for Lance Company for 20 years. Pearl was a loving mother, a devoted grandmother, a fantastic sister, a caring aunt, and a wonderful friend. She was a delighted person who had the patience of Job. She had a warm and gentle spirit. She loved everyone, especially children, and children adored her. Pearl was often a babysitter for family and friends. Her hobbies were listening to gospel music and reading the Bible. My fondest memory of grandmother Pearl is when we used to go to church every Sunday. So my grandmother, she made sure we went to church every Sunday. It was no ifs, ands, or buts. As the scriptures say, me and my house, we will serve the Lord. We were at church every Sunday. She made sure we put our clothes out at night. And she always made sure we looked our best before we went to church. My brother and I, we used to pick at grandma singing sometimes. She used to get mad, but she just loved going to church. And also my grandmother, she loved the family reunion. So our family reunion is every second August of the year. And it's based off my grandmother's siblings. So whichever sibling time it was, they planned for that year. But my grandmother used to be so excited for the family reunions. She would go to the store 2 months before the family reunion to pick out her outfit. Her favorite store was Goodwill, so she would pick out at least 2 to 3 skirts because her favorite attire was a t-shirt and a skirt, and she would work on it for weeks, trying to get it right. But then she would ultimately just wear something that was in her closet. So they used to be funny. I'm like, Grandma, you just making this skirt just to take it back? And she did. But she just loved the family reunion. That was just a highlight of her year. She used to love to see the children, her brothers and sisters. And of course, my grandma loved to eat, so we always had a lot of good food at the family reunion. So she loved to eat and laugh and sing. And her siblings, they used to sing hymns at the family reunion, praises to the Lord, and we always prayed. So it was always Christ-centered, the family reunions.
That's really good.
Good afternoon, family. Juana wants to introduce the family members, so she wants everybody to hear who belongs to which family member. So please give her your undivided attention silently. Thanks.
Okay, we're going to introduce some families, and we'll start with my grandmother. She was the oldest, and that's Louisiana, Surratt, Petty, and everybody that's here with,
Stay outside.
yeah, well, they outside, but it's me and Ali and my grandboys and my daughter, Tracy, and I guess that's it.
And Ellis is outside. And that's my son. And Michael go next to town. Michael gonna wipe the camera. I'm Don Ross McKinney, and I am Pearl's youngest grandson.
That's right. That's right. So this is my brother right here, Don Ross. So Don Ross, growing up, what's one of the fondest memories that you remember about Grandma?
The fondest memory I remember about Grandma Pearl, well, we used to get a ride from her going to school. And I will always remember us going to school, and I would sit in the back seat. But when I sit in the back seat, I would huddle in between the chairs and the actual seat. But when we got close to the school, which was Starmount Elementary, she would get us a steak biscuit.
Oh, yeah.
And I would enjoy that steak biscuit. And she always made sure we ate breakfast before we went to school. And so that was like one of my fondest memories. That was one of the few that I remember from her.
Oh yeah, we did see our steak biscuits.
That's right.
What's one of the funniest memories that you can think about Grandma?
There's so many. The funniest memory I remember from Grandma Pearl was when she hated fireworks. And so what happened was, it was around the 4th of July, and I don't remember the actual date, but it might have been around the 4th of July, somewhere right there. But I had a firecracker, but what I did was I took the fuse out the firecracker, so I only had the fuse. And I lit the fuse and ran into the room with Grandma, and her eyes got as big as balloons, and she was screaming in the bed. And it was like, even though it scared her probably half to death, it was the funniest moment in my life. Because I was just a kid and I was so devious. And it just like, it made my life. It made my day.
Because when she seen it, what she do?
She started screaming and jumped up. Ah!
And she dived in the bed.
And dived.
I remember that.
It was the best moment, yeah.
As time passes and life moves forward, why does family remain so important?
Family remains so important because family is the foundation of your life. It instills morals, beliefs, your sense of humor. In our family, we love to laugh. We love to have fun. And my grandmother Pearl, she loved to laugh. We didn't have much growing up, so we always trying to find the joys in the little things in life. Also, it helps. Foundation is the community as well. My grandmother, she was the matriarch of our family and also our community. She was a neighborhood grandmother. Anytime our friends needed a listening ear, my grandmother was there. Anytime they needed a ride to school because they missed the bus, she took them to school. Even when they left, they were locked out the house and maybe left their keys inside the house. She would let them come in and have something to eat, always a snack ready for them. Just to always have kind words to say to them.
All right, I'm Joyce, Joyce Watkins. I am the oldest. My husband is Leroy Watkins. My older daughter is Andrea Cropper. Raise your hand so they'll know you. Adrian Watkins.
So what was it like growing up with Grandma Pearl?
It was amazing. I always felt special because my brother is a little over a year older than me, and I was the youngest one in the house, so I was the baby of the family, so to speak.
Yes.
And I got all the love and attention that it's unreal. I just felt just immersed in love. And being the baby, they all took a lot of time with me, but Pearl in particular was the youngest girl. And she and I just bonded, and I just loved her, and she was always easygoing and always looking out for me. And she was in high school when I was in elementary school.
Oh, wow.
So they all knew Pearl and thought she was my big sister, and I just let it go with that. I didn't correct anybody. And even when my grandmother passed away in 1969, which was Pearl's mother, when she passed away and they had me listed in the obituary as her grandchild, they could not believe. They said, I thought she was your mom, because Pearl, your grandmother's mother's name was Pearl. So they said, Miss Pearl was not your mom? And I said, no, she was my grandmother, but I grew up in the house and everybody thought she was my mom. So, but growing up with Pearl was just a real joy. She was loving, because we came from a loving background. That's the one thing that my grandmother stressed that we love each other and always look out for each other, always help each other and respect each other.
That's right.
And those are the values that we take with us. And it has really served me well in my adult life.
That's one thing Grandma taught us too. Like you always gotta love and look out for your brothers and sisters. And she said she learned that from her mother as well. So yes. Yeah, so Uncle Mike, how was Grandma growing up when you were a child?
Well, she was very loving and affectionate, but she had to work so much, as a just me and her. When we first came up, it just me and her before I had my brother and sister came along. So she worked for the Gerstmans for like 25 years. So she constantly stayed working and riding the bus, between riding the bus and getting home and fixing dinner and all that. It kept her exhausted. So she taught me as a little child to take responsibility. I had to learn how to cook and clean for myself. So that was one of the biggest things she taught me, how to care for myself, be clean and neat, make sure I get my stuff ironed and prepped for tomorrow and for the next day for school. Because, she had to go back, go to work real early. So that was the biggest thing I meant, how she always made sure I was cared for before she went out the door.
Yeah, so Grandma taught you about hard work.
Hard work.
So what is one of the fondest memories you remember about Grandma?
The fondest memory I remember is she loved the videotapes that I would go out and record all her nieces and nephews, or when we go to family reunions, or just anything. I would take my video recorder. This was back in the day. We would have those big camcorders, and we would tape all the anything that was going on. She used to love all of the sit back and just watching that. She would be able to bring them over on Sundays, and we can just sit back and just enjoy those.
My name is Leslie Petty McKinney. I am Pearl's only daughter.
Yes. So Mom, tell me some things about Grandma Pearl. So what was Grandma like when you were a child?
She was really loving and caring, but Mama was firm. She believed in us doing the right stuff. So if we wanted to do wrong, believe me, my mama was not having that. And she always watched us. She made sure she had somebody watching us. We used to have a lot of neighbors that watched us. And so yeah, she kept an eye on us. She made sure we did what was right. So it was hard to get out of line, but don't think that we didn't get out of line, but believe me, she kept us in line.
So what is one of the fondest memories you have of Grandma Pearl?
Well, my mom, she was a hard worker, so she used to work at Lance at night, and we were at home one morning. It was the morning time, but my mom, she had got home that morning and went to sleep, and she slept so hard. So when she got up, she was running around getting all her stuff ready. She was just screaming, "Why y'all didn't tell me it was time to go to work? Oh Lord, I'm so late. Oh Lord, I'm late. I'm so late to work." And so we were just looking at it, and we were just laughing, because you know how kids are. Kids just laugh and have fun. And when she got done with everything, she said, "It's so light outside. I thought it was time for work." We said, "Mom, we tried to stop you, but you were just running around like it was time to go to work." So she thought that was so funny. Mama was laughing. She said, "Lord, let me go back to bed. Y'all kids so crazy."
My name is Shawana Polk. I am Pearl's granddaughter, oldest sibling. So I've had some memories and some years.
Yes, yes. So tell us something about Grandma that you remember as a child growing up.
One thing that I remember that really sticks with me today, she would always tell us, when you get up in the morning, never leave your bed unmade. She didn't care if it was made up partially, just pull your covers up. So even to this day, I still do that, and I think about her every morning when I do that.
You make sure you make that bed
Yeah.
up. If you don't do nothing else,
Make the bed.
make the bed up. Yeah. So what's, Grandma, she was so silly. What's one of the funniest memories you have of Grandma?
Mm. I'm gonna say the funniest is anytime, Dante and Ross would get around and get to wrestling and she would pull out that hickory. I'm gonna get my hickory. She'd pull out a broomstick or whatever hickory and she'd get after them. That was always so funny.
Yes. They used
Yeah,
to be
that was
trying to beat
always
her
funny.
up. Like, y'all sit there, y'all. Yes. All right. So now that you have children now, Grandma growing up, she taught us about different morals and beliefs and taught us about God. What are some things that she taught you that you carry on today and tell your children?
I think one of the most important things, and it's become one of the most important things in my life, is to introduce my children to Christ, bring them up in the church. That was actually one thing she asked me to do before she passed. She said, just make sure you put the boys in church. That was two things. She wanted me to find a husband and put the boys in church. So I got 1 out of 2 down so far. So, that every time I go to church, that really resonates with me that that was something that she wanted me to do. So I'm really, really happy that I made that decision to do that.
Linda Cerenzi is my name, and I'm Pearl's only living sister.
Yes. And how old are you, Aunt Lindy?
93.
93 and going strong. So, Aunt Lindy, how was grandmother as a little child?
Oh, she was so outgoing. She loved the outside, and she liked to jump rope, dance. She was just good at outside stuff and kids. Even as a child, she loved children. She was always busy doing something. And then as she grew up, remember how she loved to sew? She wasn't a good cook, but she could do other things.
She wasn't.
But most things she did enjoy. She did it to her best. She did. She had fun. Her life was rich and full.
Yes. And what is your fondest memory of grandma?
Oh, Pearl was amazing and so compassionate, taking care of everybody, always giving grace to people. Like if you say somebody done, well, maybe they didn't know, that kind of thing. Maybe they was late because she'd make an excuse. She always gave grace to people. Pearl was so kind, so loving. And with the kids, I wanted to sit them down and wanted to be quiet. Pearl said, let them have fun. She was always good with kids. She really was. And then she liked to jump rope and all kinds of things outside. She was good at it.
And what do you think her love for children started?
I think she always did because I guess by her being the youngest, we gave her a lot of attention. And I think that's why she got, it spoils some people, but it
Yes.
never spoiled her. She always was good at giving to others. It was a joy.
Yes.
It was her joy.
Well, just in the house, her cooking, she couldn't cook.
She couldn't at all.
But she would, I would say, well, let's do it this way. And she said, now the way you did this tastes good, but I ain't got, she couldn't cook. So I said, you got it on high. She cook it, she cook everything on the same
high.
temperature. It'd be on high. And before it would get done, it was burned.
That's right. I remember that. Like, Grandma, turn it down.
But I don't know why because as patient and laid back as she was, when it comes to cooking,
She didn't have the patience.
she didn't have patience. I mean, that's all. When you really get down to it, she didn't have the patience for cooking.
Grandma she kept us in church, and I think that's what kept us, and as well as we talk about Grandma Pearl a lot. But she also taught, our mother and our uncles the same values. And so they shielded us a lot from knowing that we were, not as well off as everybody else. Of course, when we go to school, we see everybody with the nice shoes and the nice shirts and the name brand. But what we always had was we always had laughter, we always had food, and we always had somewhere over, a roof over our head. So we didn't know that we were less off than anybody else. And so I feel like they shielded us. By just giving us the basic necessities, and they doing it the right way. Teaching us the value of cooking, and we ate. Now we did eat out on Fridays.
Oh yeah, every
And so
Friday.
I think that was like a reward for, us suffering throughout the week on beans and collard greens. But it was, I think that them shielding us and keeping us in church kind of, helped us grow through, I guess hard times or the slight poverty that, we could have been in. Yep. 80 years strong. You've been striving and surviving for 8 decades long. A life well lived. She gave us all God's offering, her heart she would give. Our words can never prove our love, and giving you the world will be cliche or a lack thereof. My granny still sneaks 20s in my hand, just to fill my gas can. Always giving what's needed, a source of tenderness and life that can never be depleted. Carried us as babies, answered whenever we called, held our hands as we walked, encouraged as we crawled. Raised us up when we failed and wished us well. No act or word can never amount to the gratitude to which we owe. Pearl, you are the most humble person I know. Proverbs 31:31 reads, honor her for all that her hands have done, and let her works bring her praise at the city gate. Well, I want to praise you now for your life and faith. Grandma, thank you for caring, listening, and carefully giving advice. Love you for who you are, and just know we remember the sacrifice. To the woman that gives her last, I'd give my all. You make your demands, they can never be too tall. My grandma still sneaks 20s in my hand, just to fill my gas can. Every time you pray for me, I pray for you. Grandma, when your clouds got dark, I got on my knees until your sky and clouds turned blue. Grandmother, mother, aunt, sister, and most importantly, friend, rather an angel that God was in. In short, we adore you, beautiful as a sunrise, pearl, timeless beauty, easy on the eyes. Yes, my grandmother, tell no lies. 80 years strong. You've been surviving and you've prevailed for 8 decades now.
So Joyce, tell us about the Petty's family reunion. And how did it start?
Okay. I think I told you that family, the Petty family, there were 10 siblings, Pearl and Wiley Petty. And the one thing my grandmother, which would be your great grandmother, her name was Pearl as well. And the thing she stressed was always love each other. And the 10 siblings have always been close. And as a result, although I wasn't one of the 10, I told you I was raised in the house, so I guess me and my brother would make it 12. But the thing she stressed was to always love each other, take care of each other, be kind to each other. And as the family grew, and then my grandmother passed away in 1969, April of 1969, the family continued to, the siblings visit each other and love each other. And decided that we need to come together at least once a year so our children, their children, could be close and know who each other is and let the legacy continue. And I remember the first reunion, we decided we would come together in 1980. And we met at Hornets Nest Park, Charlotte, North Carolina. And basically, the siblings and their children and grandchildren, we all came together. And that was the beginning of the organized reunion, so to speak.
Yeah, because grandma, she loved the family reunion. I remember leaning up to it. She would go to Goodwill and find at least 5 or 6 skirts. She would work on them and sew them
She
up.
loved to work on those skirts.
Sew on them, and then she would try them on. It didn't work. The first one didn't work. She got out through all of them, and then she was like, "You know what? I'm gonna wear this skirt I wore last year." So she would take all the skirts back to Goodwill and wear the
That
skirt
sound like Pearl.
she already had in her closet. I'm like, "Grandma, why did you do that?" Well, I'm gonna wear this one. I'm like, "Okay, Grandma." Yeah, she was so funny.
She was getting ready for it. Yeah, that's been, and I think it's good. It's just remarkable to me the love that I saw among the siblings in our family, the older generation. And I certainly hope that some of the children would catch, as they say, catch that love bug one for the other. And I'm just so thankful that you have seen fit to do what you're doing and that it's meaningful to you because you show that in your actions. You can talk about a thing, but the real, I guess, deal is what you see people do. And so I'm just so proud of you and
Yes, thank
how
you.
you've caught on and your interest in the reunion and in the Petty family.
Yes.
That's a blessing to me.
Devil hole?
Yeah, okay, let's talk about the story about the Do you remember a story that she said that?
Oh gosh. Cause I was young, but I remember I would come over and I would cut up so bad. And if you make her mad, she wasn't gonna cuss.
Right.
But she would figure out a name to call you. And I remember I had cut up so bad that day. And she was like, you old devil hole. Oh, you're a little devil hole. And then when it was about time for Liz or my daddy to get off work, I would hurry up and say, have I been good today? Have I been good today? Please don't tell him I've been bad. But I knew I had been bad because I had heard her call me devil hole.
Right.
Yes, I had never heard that. I think that's a new word she made up just for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I had never heard that
word. That was for you.
Well, I'm going to pass it down to Deshaun.
Right.
He is the new devil hole.
The devil hole.
Yes.
What about growing up? Like, what are some things that y'all did growing up in the house? I know she worked a lot, but did y'all do anything in the fun? Like any traditions that y'all did in the house?
Yeah, a lot of things she liked to do is she liked to cook popcorn and maybe let's sit down and watch. She loved watching Christmas shows that come on, or she like watching the Wizard of Oz, just any of the things that kept us, children. She wants to stay children. She didn't want to grow up so fast. So she made sure we watched any kind of little show. And her favorite show was The Imitation of Life. It's about a lady denying her color, and she always wanted to be another color. And then she found out that didn't matter at the end. That her mother really loved everything she did, but the little girl despised her mother at first. And then when her mother was on a dying bed, none of that mattered. So she was trying to teach us the value of take care and love your mother while she's here.
And she used to cry every time at the end.
Yeah.
No matter how many times she watched it.
She sit there and cry.
Every time.
Yes.
Girl, it was a trip.
If I could relive one day, I would just I would just relive that day. You know, we sitting in there, we looking at TV together, and she putting out her little Christmas stuff, putting out the placemats, and she be finding little whatnots to put on the table. You know, anything that was Christmassy or.
For the holidays.
Yeah,
Because Grandma
for the-
loved holidays, didn't
Oh
she?
yeah, she loved the holidays. Thanksgiving and Christmas. Lord, yeah, Mama loved it. She loved the holidays.
Did y'all get Christmas gifts?
We used to. You know what, Mama didn't have a lot of money, but anything that she always made sure that we had something for Christmas. Because I remember one year I wanted this black baby alive. I said, Mama, I want that black baby alive. She said, well, Liz, I don't know if we'll be able to get that, but guess what? I had a black baby alive.
She got it for you.
I did. I did. And I was real excited.
What do you miss most about Grandma?
Talking to her and her voice. And when she got real sick, you know, at the end, it was her voice and talking to her. She used to say, well, one day you won't have me here. I said, Mama, don't say that. She talking about, well, it's true. I won't be here, but you'll be all right because the Lord will be with you. I'll leave you with the Lord. Yeah.
And also growing up, we always bought Grandma Mother's Day cards. And we would always try to figure out who would make her cry. So I would have been like, with my brother, I'll say, I'm gonna make her cry this time. And he's like, nope, I got it. I'm gonna make her cry. So funny thing, my grandma would act like she's reading the cards. She would be pretending that she's reading the cards, but she's actually just looking at them, but not reading. And then, so she wouldn't cry in front of us. And then 10 minutes later, she would go in her room and actually read the cards. And then she would come in crying, telling us thank you. And I remember asking Grandma, like, Grandma, why you cry so much on Mother's Day? And she would say, it's because she thinks about her mom. And how her mom raised them, because her mom was my great-grandmother, which is my grandmother's mother, was named Pearl as well. And she was like the same spirit, the same sweet spirit, and teaching them about Christ and family-centered as well. So she was really similar to my grandmother. And, you know, no matter how old you get, you always miss your parents. And my grandmother was like a mother to me because mom was a single mom. So she worked 2 jobs, sometimes 3. So my grandmother essentially raised my siblings and I. So she taught us about Christ. She taught us different values and beliefs. She taught us to look out for each other, no matter what's going on. She taught us to always look out for your family first, because family, and as I get older, that really resonates with me, and I understand the importance of family.
Her greatest gift was love. She loved her family. She loved her children. She loved everybody in her family, her brothers, her sisters.
She was, in line with love, she was kind. So she was a kind lady.
And she loved y'all. She loved the kids.
Her name just means love. She was such a loving person. I think that was her, out of so many accomplishments, her greatest was love.
Pearl was full of love and kindness. To me, that's a great legacy for anyone to leave, and she certainly imparted those values to her children and her grandchildren.
So I think if I had to pick out the greatest thing that I loved about her was how kind and compassionate she was. Everybody loved her.
She was a good enough woman to have me in here crying, talking about her, so she was worth knowing. She was the sunshine on cloudy days, and she always had your back, regardless of right or wrong.
If you could say one more thing to Grandma Pearl, what would it be?
Job well done, Mama. Well done.
Why did you decide to honor Grandma with Pearl's Child Care Learning Center and Pearl's 2?
So I decided to honor Grandma Pearl with Pearl's Child Care Learning Center and Pearl's 2 because I seen the impact that she had on her family life. I seen the legacy that she left with her grandchildren, how they marveled at her, how they just honored her, and the memory of Grandma Pearl really stuck with them. So I felt like other people should experience that, right? In the form of child care, right? Children at a young age should learn the fruit of the Spirit, the love, the peace, the joy, the happiness. And with that, and my beautiful wife, I think we were able to capture that in Pearl's Child Care Learning Center and Pearl's too. As well with the staff and the families, we always get the love and the question, who was Pearls? And I feel like this whole documentary will be able to not only answer that question, but also give them a glimpse of who she truly was.